The Prince Experience, Gabriel Sanchez, September 27th. So that was of the taping of this on the 19th of September. That's a week from tomorrow. Pablo Center in Eau Claire, 7:30 p.m. show. How many Prince shows did you attend, if any, in your life?
I saw him 4 times.
Okay. When? Just out of curiosity, what tours? What were they?
Let's see. They were in like the 90s more. Only because I wasn't. I didn't go to concerts back when he was like super popular. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was into him when I first heard him. I thought this is great stuff. But like the first concert was like more like in the 90s, like mid 90s.
Aha.
Unfortunately.
And
it was still great though.
Oh, of course.
It was still great.
And I never got to see Prince live, unfortunately. So 4 times over, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm jealous. You got the chance to actually see Prince live in concert. When, though, was it from one of the shows? When did you decide you wanted to do something like the Prince Experience? What was the first point of inspiration for that?
Well, how it all started actually was I had a friend who was involved in some local theater, and they did plays, and one of them they did like Pink Floyd The Wall, and like, oh, that okay. I went to go see it. I bought a ticket just to kind of help them out, whatever. I'll buy a ticket, and it was a low kind of quality show, but I was just there to help them out. And he goes, oh, we're gonna do Purple Rain now. I'm like, oh, I love Prince. I'm like, yeah, I love the movie. I'll buy a ticket. Let me know. And he said, no, we want you to be Prince. And I was like, I don't know about that, man. I'm like, I don't know if I can pull that off. And I said, I've never acted before. I've never done a play. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I love Prince. I've written the home like movies or stuff. But I've done like stuff like that. Like I've written out scripts, and I've had my sisters and my cousins give them their parts. So I've been I've done acting, I guess, kind of, when I was a kid, just on my own. So I figured, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I told them, yeah, I'll do it. And then my friends started hearing that I was going to do this Prince thing. They're like, oh, man, you can sing like him and dance like him and play guitar like him. And I'm like, what did I get myself into? My stomach dropped. I'm like, what the fuck did I get into? So I ended up going home that night and putting on the entire album, and I started singing it just to make sure that I can sing it. And I'm lucky that I have a very wide vocal range, 4 octaves at least.
Nice.
I've gone higher since I actually started, but I was lucky that I could do that. So I said, okay, now I just gotta learn to color the notes to sound like Prince. At that time, I didn't play lead guitar as much, so I literally had to get up every morning and practice the solos that were on the record and try to learn them by ear, because I didn't know how to do it. So I just by ear, just learning how to play the solos, and worked really hard. And I knew I could dance dirty, because when no one's around, when I'm getting dressed, like out of the shower, I have music on, I dance dirty and stuff, but nobody's watching, right?
Right.
I knew that, but when somebody's around, I'm shy. I'm like, no, I don't dance. Sorry, I don't dance. So it was a struggle for me to get on stage and do that kind of stuff, But it turned out so fun. I had such a great time. People were into it, and it was only a 3-day run, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I didn't want to stop. I said, I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to get a band together, and I'm going to keep doing this, and that's what I did. And that was in, 2002.
Oh, wow. How do you find the right people to play literally the right music parts to recreate the assorted, and I know like in the preview video, a lot of it's the Revolution, but to get a lot of those parts on stage?
Okay. First of all, I will say there are no backing tracks. Everything that we do is live.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no fake, because there are so many bands out there that have backing tracks to make them sound better than they are, which I think is fake. So that's one of my main things, is everything is live. I find people that, are not drug addicts or drunks, because that's very important. When you're in the scene, it's very common for somebody to be, into the alcohol a lot, and then when they're playing, they like to have drinks, and drugs, especially drugs, is rampant. It's very obvious through the band scene. I've never been into drugs ever. I've never been drunk in my life. if the other guys who want to drink, that's fine. I mean, I drink wine and stuff like that, but a rule of mine, and I have fired people for this, if you drink before or during the show, you will be fired. I do not put up with that at all. So that's very important. So that's one thing. As somebody that has to be mentally ready to play a show completely straight and focused. That, and then I find people who are on a certain level of playing. And what I try to do is find people that are better than me. Because then it keeps me on my toes. So I don't know music theory. I mean, everything I do is from ear. And so the people that I have most of them know theory. So if they this is in the key of F sharp, and they know all of the theory things that go with it, so they know how to learn stuff easier, and they can listen to the record and go, oh, he's playing whatever kind of chord here, and they will play it. So they know all these things. So that's very important to me. So I could never person who's just starting out or just average player. They have to be really, really good, because the stuff to do when we're doing the stuff during the show is not easy at all.
Well,
I mean, my job is the hardest, because nobody will ever be as good. Mine's a never-ending quest to how can I get better, you know. So
how have you evolved over basically impersonating Prince? How has that evolved over time? Where do you feel like you have most been able to kind of embody the vibe, the impression, and what do you find is the one that you're still working on the most?
Okay, it's pretty much everything, vocals and just stage presence itself. That's really important, the stage presence, because Prince didn't just stand there. He was always doing something or doing or moving around with his arms, even if he was just standing still, he was doing something with his face, his hands, or something. He never just stood there and did nothing. So there's a lot of things with that alone. But vocally, I've grown immensely vocally. Just from me trying to copy him throughout the years, I'm like, oh, well, how was he doing that high scream at the end of Dove's Cry? Because when I first started doing it, I couldn't do it. It's like, how was he doing that? Yeah, that high screaming. I'm like, what is he doing to do that without hurting himself? And I figured it out on my own. I mean, I took vocal lessons. That's the only thing that I went lessons for, is vocals, because I think it's, I needed to just be better at it. So I paid a lot of money. And I still go back every once in a while, just because I think you should never stop learning. So I have a great teacher. So with what he taught me, I just started messing around with my voice and learn how to do these other certain things. And as the years go by, I'm like, wow, I'm doing that so much better. I would listen to videos. I'm like, wow, that's how I used to sing that? Well, this is so much better now. And so without even knowing it, I just have gotten better. And when you do something over and over and over again, you're going to get better if you keep trying, to get better.
Right.
So, and then same thing with piano. Today I'm a way better piano player because I play piano, guitar, drums, and I sing throughout the show, all 4 instruments. And piano is my weakest instrument, but I'm getting better immensely on that as well. And it started during COVID. When everything shut down, I didn't want to stop playing, so I started doing online shows. And I would say, okay, and every Saturday I had a show. I said, I'm going to do the entire Purple Rain album on piano and acoustic, and so I had to do it. So I forced myself purposely to learn songs on the piano, and I had to do it before Saturday. So I did stuff like that, push myself.
Nice.
So, and I'm constantly getting better, but it's a never-ending thing, and I love it. That's what I love about it. And if you think that you are good enough, then you're just done. Then just hang it up, because you're never going to get great, I think you should never, ever stop learning. Never-ending quest.
What has been the most challenging song to arrange/present on stage? Having done this for as many years, which one is the trickiest one to accomplish effectively?
Okay, there's 2 songs. One of them is going to be the end of the song Dove's Cry, when Doves Cry. Because there are a couple of tricky vocal parts that I had to learn, like I was telling you. I had to figure out what he was doing. So that song, but the song that really helped me become a really good singer is The Beautiful Ones. The hard song, what he's doing vocally, the vocal technique that he uses took me a while to get down, especially the screams at the end. And I still haven't even got those perfected yet. They're really good. I'm happy with what I'm doing, but I'm still trying to perfect even that, you know? But yeah, those two songs.
Yeah. What would you say is your favorite Prince song of all time, regardless of whether you perform it, whether you can, because maybe it's too obscure for which, I mean, especially around here, I don't think there's any Prince song that's really too obscure, and that's saying something considering all the songs that he's recorded over time. But what is your all-time favorite?
I think it's going to sound very cliche, and I am not even sick of playing this song, Purple Rain. You would think, oh yeah, you're probably sick of playing Purple Rain because you've heard it so much that everybody thinks of Purple Rain when you think of Prince. But even when he was alive, he was alive when I first started doing this. The play, he was alive. I can remember vividly in my head the first time the band and I rehearsed that song. I literally had moments of like emotion, like I almost started crying when I was practicing it with the band, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? I'm like, why am I feeling these emotions? It was very strange. I've never experienced that before. And then now that he passed, it's a different thing. It's even more intense. And I'm a very spiritual person, and I believe in that he's there, you know, that I believe that when we're there, sometimes I do things on stage that I never even planned or never even did before. And things just come out. I'm like, where did this come from? I'm like, wow. And it's like something is making me do these things, you know, live. But I feel more connected to Prince when I'm playing Purple Rain more than any other song. And I talk to him during that song sometimes, you know, I'm like thanking him for letting me do this, you know.
So what would you say, trying to embody him, what do you feel like you've discovered that, I mean, honestly, that you kind of have to commit to trying to be Prince on stage in a musical and performative way, that unless you do that, you're never going to understand what this is like, but you kind of feel like you know, as close as one can without being him, as close as you can to being Prince. How would you tell the audience?
Well, I mean, to me, it's like you're acting. Like I said, I've never really acted before, but you have to study the person. So I studied the movie immensely, and so when I'm on stage, I'm going, okay, well, this is what he did, and you have to sell it. Like you're actually, you know, you have to try to make the people think that you're him. You know, when you're up there, you know you're not him, but you have to sell it. The movements, you have to give them a certain look in their, you know, look at somebody and give them a certain look the way he did. And you have to just walk the certain walk that he did. And when I first did it, it was something that I had to really think about and do it. And it's so strange to say that after so many years. And like I said, when you do something over and over again, it's literally become part of me, where even when I'm not doing Prince, because I do other things, like I do solo acoustic shows, and I have a classic rock band that I do, and this and that. And when I'm on stage doing other stuff, I still feel this, I guess the word is sexiness, because Prince was like sexy, right? Mm-hmm. So I still get this vibe when I'm not even doing Prince, because it has become literally part of me now, which is great, because I have embraced it so much. That's where it's actually become.
Have you been to Paisley Park?
Yes, I've been there once, and it was extremely emotional. I loved it. I want to go back. In fact, I would like to get a group together, maybe have some fans. We all meet up together in a van or a truck or a big one of those big limo vans, and we should probably go there. It'd be a really fun thing to do.
It's such a... now, did you get like the basic one, or did you go for like that? There's like a next level one, I believe. Which one did you do?
I went to the one up. Yeah, the next level one.
I figured probably did. There's a coworker, because my wife and I took the basic one last October. There's a coworker of mine who did the next level up, and I've seen like the pictures from like the other studio where he did a lot more of his stuff and everything. And even the basic one was still like, when you see like the Oberheim and the drum machine, and you just, Oh my gosh, there it. That's it. That's the one that was used. What was your favorite part of the tour?
Being in the studio that he was in, I was like, wow, this is where the magic was literally born, where he was making it. That was incredible. It felt so close to him. You know, I was like, wow, I could feel him in here. It was incredible.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was such a cool thing, and every time someone asks about, like, yes, go, please, go. You don't have to be a Prince. Yeah. Go. It's worth it. It's worth the experience. Absolutely. So
it definitely is.
So for your Prince experience, what will anyone listening from around Eau Claire that's going to be at the show on the 27th? So do the quick elevator pitch. What are they going to see when they come to Pablo Center?
You're going to see what Prince did in 1985 tour of the Purple Rain. That's the era that we do. That's the energy that we bring. It's going to be the best party that you've ever been to.
And that was that tour was, oh my gosh, that's like the one. So it's going to be great to see that recreated. It'll be great for anyone going to that show. Gabriel Sanchez, The Prince Experience, 7:30, September 27th, Pablo Center at the Confluence Eau Claire. Thanks for taking time to chat today. Thanks for keeping this music alive any way possible. That's always a good thing, and we're in Prince territory around here, so I think you're going to have a very receptive crowd here in western Wisconsin.